If you're a wireless technician, you know that dialing in that perfect RF signal is just half the battle, right? The other, arguably more important half, is making sure that signal is locked down tight. Because a weak network, well, it's not just a problem, it's a wide open invitation for trouble. All right, let's get into it.
Now, just so you know where we are, this is part 4 of our deep dive 10-part series for RF technicians. It's all based on a really fantastic report from the RFI detectives over at Virtualization Options LLC. Today, we're zoning in on a big one, Chapter 4, all about security settings and protocols.
So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about why security is just so foundational. Then, we'll take a trip down memory lane to look at the protocols you need to run away from. After that, we'll get into the good stuff, the WPA3 gold standard. We'll also break down the difference between personal and enterprise setups, and finally, we'll look at how to build a layered defense that goes beyond just the protocol.
Okay, Section 1, Security, the critical layer. And I want you to really let that subtitle sink in. This isn't just another box to check on a configuration page. No, this is probably the single most important thing you will do when you set up a wireless network. You know, the report we're drawing from really just nails it with this quote. Getting this one thing right is the difference between a client's sensitive data being safe or being completely exposed to anyone who happens to be in radio range. Everything else you do, from channel planning to antenna placement, it all rests on this foundation. So that brings us to Section 2, depreciated and dangerous protocols. You have to know what to avoid. Think of these as the ghosts of Wi-Fi past. Relics from another era that have absolutely no place on a modern network.
First up, we have WEP. The name itself, Wired Equivalent Privacy, is kind of laughable today. It can be cracked in minutes, and I'm not exaggerating. Someone in the parking lot with a laptop and some free software could be on your client's network before you've even finished your first cup of coffee. Then you've got WPA with TKIP. It was a temporary fix back in the day, but its core cryptography is fundamentally flawed and exploitable.
So let's be absolutely clear on this. If you are ever, for any reason, looking at a drop-down menu and you see WEP or WPA with TKIP, just scroll right past it. Choosing either of them is like putting a screen door on a bank vault. It might look like security, but it provides zero actual protection. Okay, enough about what not to do. Let's move on to Section 3 and talk about where we need to be today, the WPA3 gold standard. This is what you should be aiming for on every single new deployment. Now, for a long time, WPA2 with a pre-shared key, or PSK, was our go-to. And look, it can still be secure, but only if you've got a password that is insanely long and complex. See, its biggest weakness is that an attacker just needs to capture the initial handshake. That's it. Then they can take that file home and throw billions of password guesses at it per second. Your entire network security is just a ticking clock, waiting for their computer to find the right combination.
And this is where WPA3 gets really smart. It gets rid of PSK and replaces it with something called Simultaneous Authentication of Equals, or SAE. The magic here is that instead of relying on one static password, it creates a brand new, unique encryption key for every single device connection. That whole offline dictionary attack we just talked about, it becomes completely useless. But it doesn't even stop there. WPA3 has another ace up its sleeve, a truly crucial feature called forward secrecy.
Think about how powerful this is. With forward secrecy, even if an attacker somehow gets the network password a year from now, they cannot use it to go back and read all the data they might have captured last week. All that old traffic is useless to them. It's like every conversation had its own unique key that was thrown away the second it was over. This is a massive step up for data privacy.
All right, on to Section 4, personal versus enterprise security. Because knowing the tech is one thing, but knowing which tool to use for which job, well, that's where a real pro stands out. So, let's get real for a second. You're almost never going to walk into an environment where every single device is brand new and supports WPA3. That's where WPA2/WPA3 transitional mode comes in. It's the perfect solution for the real world. It lets all the new devices connect using the super secure WPA3 while still letting older devices connect safely with WPA2. Best of both worlds.
Now let's talk about the two main flavors you'll deploy. You've got personal mode, which uses one password for everybody. It's great for a house or a tiny office. But then you have enterprise mode. this is a whole different ballgame. There's no shared password at all. Instead, every single person gets their own username and password, which gets checked against a central server. And for any real business, the advantages here are just huge. I mean, think about this scenario. An employee leaves the company on bad terms. If you're using a shared password, they could be sitting in their car in the parking lot with full access to your network. You'd have to change the password on every single laptop, phone, and printer. What a nightmare. With enterprise mode, you just find their name in a list and click disable. Boom, their access is gone, instantly.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, Beyond the Protocol. Look, having a strong protocol like WPA3 is your foundation, but real security, robust security, means building layers of defense on top of it. For any network that's running in personal mode, that password is everything. A simple password totally guts the strength of even the best protocol. We're talking 12 characters as the bare minimum. You should really be pushing clients for 16 or more. Mix everything in there, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, symbols, and please get them to use a password manager. A super strong password written on a sticky note under the router is just, well, it's not security. And here are 3 more quick hitters that are absolutely non-negotiable. First, turn off WPS. That push-button convenience just isn't worth the security holes. It's like leaving a key under the doormat. Second, always set up a guest network and make sure client isolation is turned on. You don't want a visitor's infected laptop sniffing around your internal network. And third, disable remote management from the internet, unless there is an explicit, rock-solid reason for it. An open management port is just a giant hack me sign for the whole world to see.
So, you've done it all. You're running WPA3, you've got a password that's a mile long, and all the settings are hardened. You're secure. But that brings up a final thought. Is security something you just set up once and forget about? Or is it a journey, a constant process of paying attention and adapting? That's something we all need to keep in mind.